Hello, everybody. I hope that you can see us live and this has started. Welcome to Getting Started with Applied Digital Skills with myself and Natasha. Natasha, say hi.
Hey, everybody. Welcome.
So, Natasha, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself real quick?
Okay. Hey, everybody. Good evening. My name is Natasha Rachel, and I'm a digital learning specialist in what we like to call Hotlanta, but it has been raining all day. So it is rainy Atlanta today, and excited to be here and just learn with you guys and get you guys some more information about applied digital skills. You guys are so in for a treat tonight, and thank you for being here.
Thank you. And I'm Heather Dowd, and I'm coming to you from sunny Illinois. It wasn't rainy today. Today was one of our first spring days that we've had. A week ago, I woke up to snow, and today we were out in the yard and it was 70 degrees. So no complaints here. We're happy to be here. We're going to, hopefully we have a fun 30 minutes for you. We are going to go have a little overview of applied digital skills and then get you in there looking at the curriculum. And if you haven't done our day one challenge, there is still time. So I'd like to hear from all of you. If you could introduce yourselves in the chat and say where you are from and what's for dinner. And we can see that roll in. Coach Hicks, you're from Illinois? I didn't know. How exciting.
I forgot all about that. He's a proud Chicagoan, whatever you say.
I think that's it. You got it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started as you introduce yourselves in the chat. I want to just give you a really short kind of introduction, and then I'm going to throw it back to Natasha to start talking about the curriculum. Applied Digital Skills is under the Grow with Google umbrella. And if you have used CS First, Applied Digital Skills will look familiar to you. It's a very similar layout. And Grow with Google, what their whole mission is to provide training, tools, and workshops for everyone, not just K-12, to build our skills, career, or business. So if you go to the Grow with Google site, they are touring around the country, and so you could see if they're going to visit your town. But there are lots of resources under Grow with Google, and Applied Digital Skills is one of them. So Applied Digital Skills are video-based, self-paced lessons that lead students through really practical projects to learn G Suite apps. So rather than just saying, hey, students, we're going to learn how to use Google Docs, this is more like, hey, we're going to plan an event, and we're going to use Google Docs, Google Spreadsheets, Google Drawings, and all of the tools necessary to do that. So the projects are fun and creative, and also give you a little bit of leeway. You can do some modifying as well. The curriculum is, I should let you know this now. I've had some questions emailed to me. The curriculum is designed for middle school up to adults. That said, there are several elementary school teachers using it. I think it is very appropriate for 4th and 5th grade and 3rd grade. And I'm going to throw this one to Coach Hicks, who is in the chat right now, to share with other elementary teachers. Coach Hicks, if you have any advice for all elementary teachers, K1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let us know your thoughts about using Applied Digital Skills with the little ones. So yeah, if you could share there, and also on Twitter, if you're an elementary school teacher, share your ideas on Twitter this week for how you modify some of the units to use it with your little ones. If you want to follow along with me, here's a link to the Applied Digital Skills curriculum. You don't have to, you can also just watch. So you can go to this link, or you can also just go to Google and type in Applied Digital Skills and you will get there. So I'm going to jump out of here and just quickly show you how to sign in. So here we are on the Applied Digital Skills screen. I'll go ahead and click sign in. And just like everything Google, you have to choose which account. And I have already been in here and created classes. However, if it's your first time in, let me refresh this, you will see this. I'm a learner or I'm an instructor. So when you go in as a teacher, you're going to want to click instructor and set up your profile. When your students log in to join your class, you're going to want them to choose I'm a learner. So that's kind of the basics and getting in. I'm going to throw it over to Natasha to talk a little bit about some of the different units and activities.
Awesome. And Coach Hicks just chimed in and he said that you guys are right on the money with grades 3 through 5. It sets an excellent level of rigor. He does find that he has to check in with his kids and their groups more often. So hit the nail on the head. And if you see me glancing over to my right, which is probably your left, I'm monitoring comments over there. So Coach Hicks, thank you so much for chiming in. So I am going to share my screen here. And we are going to hop right in. So Heather, can you see my screen there? We good to go?
Yep, all good.
Perfect. All right, guys. So I am going to touch base or touch a little bit on the curriculum that you'll find in Applied Digital Skills. I do want to point out to you that this is free, 100% free for all users, which is phenomenal. There are over 90 hours of content in this class or in this course. So you have tons and tons and tons of resources that are available for you to dive in and see. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive in. I'm going to show you a little bit about the curriculum. I'm going to show you how you can filter. You can search through the units and activities and how you can filter by standards. I'm going to show you where the lesson plans and rubrics are. And you guys are just going to be amazed. So once you're signed in, so I guess I should go ahead and do that first. Let's see.
All those little details.
Yeah.
You get it figured out.
Slowly signing in. Let's go. Come on, come on. Sorry, guys, I should have signed in first. So here we go. I already have a few classes in here. So when you're signed in as a teacher, this is the screen that you'll have. But if I click on curriculum up here on the top, you'll see that it takes me to this screen where all of my curriculum is located. And again, Heather, feel free to jump in whenever necessary. So you'll see that I have everything filtered here. And again, just to reiterate, you do see that it says middle and high school, but I do want you to keep in mind that if you have some really tech savvy 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, throw them in here too. We've definitely seen success with that. So you have all of these different activities, topics that are here. So I'm just scrolling through so you can kind of see a few of what you'll find there. And then you'll notice that it gives you the skills for each one. It tells you how many activities are there, and it gives you the length of time that is projected to take for a student to complete what's in there, okay? So you'll see I'm still scrolling. I'm trying to go a little slow so you can see what's there. So let's go back to the top, and we're going to dive into one of these. We're going to go to the first one. So you'll see here, this is an if-then adventure story for middle and high school. It tells me that the students are going to create an interactive if-then adventure story in Google Slides. So you'll see it tells me exactly what the students are going to be doing there. And it also tells me what kind of skills the students are going to gain as a result of this. So they're going to collaborate. They're going to learn some formatting, some presentation formatting, and they're also going to learn slide hyperlinks. So once we click on that, it opens up the entire unit for you. So again, well, not again, but they'll click start here just to begin. And so it goes through, you see where I have green check marks. It just means that that has been completed. And as you scroll down, it gives you all the different activities. So I have my first activity here. It gives an overview and a pre-survey. Every student will land on the same beginning. So you'll see that in just a second. Then it goes into activity 2, which is brainstorming. They're going to create their adventure and then wrap up, okay? So for example, if I click here on the Google Apps overview, this is Kamar, and he's going to give a whole little spiel, which is really awesome. And all the kids will see this. This is the first kind of introduction that they'll land on. So once the kids view that, they'll hit the next button, and it'll just walk them through. So they'll just watch the video, complete what's there, and click next. And you'll see they're just short videos. You get a transcript for all the videos that are there. And then when I scroll down, there's a little survey that I can take there. It walks me through just so I can kind of gauge how I feel about the following statements. How do I feel Google Docs? Is it easy to use? Is it hard to use? That kind of thing. Google Slides, Sheets. So it gives you kind of like a pre-assessment or a pre-inventory that the students will take, and it walks them through that. And so once they complete that, they'll hit next and continue to go through this particular module. So if I go back to that if then adventure story, sorry, I'll see here I have my lesson plans. So as I go through my lesson plan, and I can't wait for you guys to see this, it gives you everything that you could possibly need to know. So you have your unit objectives, your total duration, what materials you'll need, and it's normally just your computer and headphones. You do want to encourage all of your students to have access to headphones. I will say that, because when you get those videos playing and you have a class of 32 students watching those videos all at the same time, it can get a little loud. So definitely encourage headphones. And then it gives us an outline of how long it's going to take to complete each activity with a description. And as I scroll down, I have what prep is going to be needed for me as a teacher. I have the different assessments that are included. It gives you quick little tips, how to assign your groups and all that kind of stuff. And then it takes you straight through it. So you could literally take this lesson plan and walk straight in and deliver the content. It's like a no-brainer. Gives you your procedures. If you have fast finishers, what are we going to do for them? And then it gives you some screenshots as well. So I'm just kind of scrolling through. I'm not going to scroll through the whole thing because this is a long one here. But as you can see, it gives you all of the information you could possibly need. It gives you for all of the activities. You have your screenshots for what the students are going to create. It gives you the expected learner outcomes. So it's not only giving you the information that you need to kind of direct the lesson or facilitate the lesson, but it also gives you a sample of what you can expect your students to create. And this is really student-led. You really become that guide on the side instead of the sage on the stage. So everything is there for you.
Can I just add one thing about those screenshots, Natasha? Yeah. I just saw Coach Hicks mention that very helpful to use those for K-5. Tell us more, Coach Hicks, how you use them for K-5. I actually used them with my graduate students who are teachers. It was a really easy way to just do a visual of, did they hit every target? So there is a rubric, which we'll probably show here in a second, which is also really helpful, but I loved having these visuals, and every lesson plan has them for each unit.
Awesome. So yeah, thank you for that. And so you'll see I'm still scrolling. You get different suggestions for the activities, the wrap up, and you also get the answer key for the unit reflection. So you as a teacher will have that. And I said I wasn't going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and I did. But I just wanted, I know, I just wanted you to see, you know, what you had there. And of course, once you go ahead and open these up, if you want to save them to your drive, you can go ahead and click the hyperlink there to save it to your drive. Also, let's take a look at the rubrics. And here it is for you, all laid out. So it's still loading. Here we go. So this is your rubric. You have your learner name, the class there, that all that information is there for you. And then it gives you what the project is, what the desired outcome is. And I mean, this is really, it walks you through beginning all the way up to exemplary. Tells you exactly what you want them to do. I mean, this is no brainer. And then you also, if you wanted to add your own categories, you could. The thing that I love about this is that you could give this to the students ahead of time so that they know what the expectation is, and so they know kind of what they're working towards. For example, for the ideas here, if they just, you know, want to be at the beginning level, they're going to have fewer than the 5 ideas, right? But if they want to move up to exemplary, then they know what they have to work towards. So this is definitely something that you could use to give the students ahead of time so that they know exactly what it is that they're looking for.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I also just want a little shout out to Monica, who just shared in the chat that her students really loved the If Then Adventure stories, and she's a 7th grade English teacher, and it pairs well with narrative reading and writing. So if you have any ideas, or if you've used any of the units for your specific curricular goals, share those ideas in the chat with each other. That's fantastic. I'm going to share. Oh, Natasha, I don't want to cut you off. Were you?
Oh, no, you're good. The last thing that I was going to mention is that you definitely want to make sure that you run this side by side with a Google Classroom, because you want somewhere for your students to be able to drop their projects. So all of this great stuff that they're creating, definitely make sure that you have a repository, i.e. Google Classroom, for them to drop those projects in, and that you're able to grade those projects directly from there. So For those of you that already have a Google Classroom set up for your classes, you could definitely run it with that. Or if you wanted to start a new classroom just with the Applied Digital Skills, you could definitely do that as well. We know that some teachers are using the curriculum just for a tech club, for example. So they're using it as an after-school kind of tech club activity. You have other classes that are doing this for the curriculum for the semester. You have other teachers that are just pulling different units here and there and kind of embedding it into what they're doing. And the other thing that I wanted to share too, like for example, one of the units talks about building a budget or project planning and building a budget. And so really start to think outside of the box. So Google gives you this great, I'm going to say a framework. Really think outside of the box about how you could apply your content to what it's asking. So don't think just because it's maybe something about animals that it only pertains to a science class. Really, examine how you can integrate this into all of your content. That's it.
And that is a great little preview to your day 4 challenge this week, which is, I'll just give you a little hint, is we'll have you really think about that and how you can take one of these units and tweak it a little bit for your area. So thank you. I also want to say something about Google Classroom. The biggest request we're getting right now is better integration between Applied Digital Skills and Google Classroom. And so we hear you, and we've passed that along to the Applied Digital Skills team. And I believe I'm allowed to tell you that they are working on it. Hopefully I am. I think I can tell you that. It is something, I don't know when it will roll out, but it is something that the team is working on, and they've heard that feedback. So as with everything Google, it changes and gets better all of the time. So keep an eye out for that happening, for that integration. I want to share with you a sample student project. So this first unit, If Then Adventure Stories, I know several of you have mentioned it in the chat, and you've used it. It's a fun choose your own adventure activity. I love using Google Slides for something other than a traditional presentation. And so this is a great chance to get creative with Google Slides. So I want to show you, go ahead, Natasha.
I forgot to show them how they can filter, how they can search the standards. Can you show that really quick before you dive in? I totally forgot.
Yeah, so if you're here in the curriculum, right here where it says filter, is this what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can filter by middle school, high school, college, and continuing ed. Right now, there are 12 middle school, high school, I believe, and 6, I think, college and continuing ed. That said, I think every single unit on here would be great for adults. And then the other thing that you can filter by our state standards. So if you're based in the United States, not every state is here, but several are. So you can choose your state and grade level and Common Core standard or other state standard, and you can see which units hit those. And teachers are the ones that mapped these units to the state standards, and so they are right on the mark. So that's great.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so I want to show you this student sample for If Then Adventure. So this was the final product for that one, and I just thought this is a fun one. So the ice cream virus. So you walk into an ice cream shop, you have the choice between 3 flavors. Which one do you want to choose, Natasha?
Ooh, let's do chocolate.
All right, we're going to choose chocolate. Oh no, you shouldn't have picked the chocolate. You caught the flu.
Oh no.
You see the doctor and you have 2 choices of treatment, decongestants or antihistamines.
Oh, if I have the flu, I think I'm going to go with the decongestant.
All right, let's try it and see what happens. Oh, look, they clear up your runny nose, but you used too many. Now you're in a state known as rebound congestion. You can't breathe. How do you fix this?
Oh, a saline nasal spray.
All right, let's choose that one. Yay, you've lost the rebound congestion and you're no longer congested. Congratulations. You made it.
Thank you.
So this is just one example. You can also see how you could use the If Then Adventure Story unit in various content areas by sort of giving students different prompts for what their stories should include. And I'll be sharing another example from Steve Wick, who I see in the chat as well later this week. All right. What's next, Natasha?
So next, we're going to go through the curriculum as a learner, show what one of the lessons look like, which I think you just did that.
Yeah, so we did show the video, right?
Yeah, I didn't play it. We just showed where it was.
Yep, so it's here. I do want to say one thing, because we're gonna talk about creating a class, and I know that was today's challenge that we asked you to do. This curriculum is open for anyone to use without logging in. And the reason that that's important is that if you have your students go to the site and start using the curriculum, they can, but you won't be able to see the back end, which we're gonna take a moment and show you what that looks like. And so that's really important for you to know, that you're gonna want them to join your class with a code. So the way that you create a class, it's over here. So when you join as an instructor, you will get to this screen, and it looks very similar to Google Classroom. And in the lower right is your plus to create a class. And so this is where you can create a class and choose if you want to use the middle school, high school units, or the college and continuing ed. And then I'm going to go ahead and click into this class that I already have, just to show you where this code is. And Natasha, I think I've jumped ahead, haven't I?
Yeah, no, you're totally fine. Keep rolling.
All right. And so right here where it says class code, that is the code that your students can join. So when your students are here on this screen and they choose I'm a learner, they will be asked, are you taking this course with an instructor? And they'll say yes. And then they enter that code right here. So as soon as they enter that code, they will appear as a learner here in your dashboard. So here you can see these are my students in the dashboard. And so right here it says unit. It will, by default, will go to the first one, but you can choose any unit to have your students do. So I used this guide to an area with my students. And so you can see them all listed here with the check mark saying that they completed what they watched the video. So that's the information I can get here, that they made it through and what their progress is. And then right here under data, so Natasha showed the reflection form that comes after every activity. This is where you can see what your students have said. So if I click on one of them, here are the questions with all of their data. And I can also come down here and click on individual responses so that I can see which student said what. So this is the information that is not available to you if your students don't join a class. So that's really important. I just really want to stress that if you want the full functionality, you do want to create a class and have your students join with that code. Was there anything else, Natasha, to show back here? Did I miss anything?
No, I think that was it. Create the code, students joining with the code, the tabs in the instructor dashboard. I think that was it.
Yeah, so that's all in here. We have a few minutes for questions. If you would like to, if you have any questions, please throw it in the chat. And also while you're doing that, make sure to, we are giving away a ticket, a free ticket to an EdTech Team Summit near you. So in order to qualify and be in the drawing for that ticket, be sure to say hello, say something in the chat. So that's how you enter the drawing, is having your name in the chat. So go ahead, if you haven't said hello yet, please do so in the chat. And if you have any questions, Natasha, have you seen any questions come through?
I do. Rosalinda, hey Ro, asked if we have, why do we need to have a Google Classroom set up to go along with the Applied Digital Skills curriculum? And again, that's just because they're not talking to each other yet. Like Heather said, they are working on it. That's the #1 request that we've seen come forward through the training. So we're really, really, really hoping that that happens sooner rather than later. And that way we won't have to kind of run two side by side. But in the meantime, you do have to have both of them running, just as a way to collect the projects that your students are turning in. And then somebody asked about Schoology and how that would work. And we don't use Schoology in my district. So Heather, I don't know if you have any insight on that.
I used I don't have Schoology either, but I used a different LMS called D2L when I did this with my students. And I basically used D2L, the LMS, which is like Schoology, as a place to put the links. So I had them, that's where I put my class code and the instructions to join my class. And then once they were in, that is where I put the link to the unit I wanted them to do with some instructions. And because I wasn't using Classroom, I had them in their Google Drive share their projects directly with me. So I put all of those instructions in the LMS so that students knew what to do. So I guess the difference I'm thinking between that and Google Classroom would be in Classroom, I could create the assignment, which would then create the Google Drive docs, whatever is needed for that particular unit. You could attach on the assignment, you can attach a blank slideshow, a blank Google Doc, whatever the students need, so that when they click on it and start creating, you have access to see it. If anyone else has a better idea or a different explanation for that, please share in the chat.
Another question about why was it written for middle and high school without including elementary?
I don't have an answer for that. I have had a lot of people ask me. I don't know why, but I have passed that feedback along. I know in the workshops that Natasha and I have been doing, we've had several elementary teachers come, and similar to the advice, or same as the advice that I said at the beginning, I do think it's appropriate for grades 3 to 5. I did see someone, and now I can't remember who, say that she's using it with K2, so I would love to hear more about that. But I don't know why it was written for middle school, high school.
Okay. See another question about, does this work on an iPad or do you need a laptop or a desktop?
I think anything can work on an iPad, but I think it's much easier on a laptop or a desktop or a Chromebook. Because you're using Google Drive, it does, it's the same functionality of doing things on an iPad with the Drive apps, which work, but it's not quite as seamless as doing it directly on a laptop. That would be my opinion. Does anybody agree, disagree?
I think that's a good synopsis. I see any other questions. Steve said that he uses Google Classroom and Padlet to collect the final products. That's awesome.
Oh, that's a great idea. I love that. I see a question from Kathy. Do you have to set up a class for each lesson? No, you do not. I would probably set up a class like, I'm a former high school teacher, so I would probably have a different class for each of my periods, each of my sections. But you can have your students in the same class do different units, and you just, in fact, I can click over here and show you. Here in the learner area, where you can see the data and you can see everything, you click this drop down to the units and you can choose any one. So whichever one you have your students working on, you can move to that one and see their progress.
Awesome. Somebody wanted to know, this is Kurt, he wanted to know, is there a way to assign the modules to the students, or do you have to have them do a search for it? And right now, you're not able to assign. That's another piece of feedback that we received that we've passed on, and we're really hoping that that comes forward soon too. So you would just tell your students you want them to do Unit 1, Activity 2, for example, and then they'll just go to that activity.
I see just a comment from Steve saying checking in with students face-to-face is essential. I'm glad you said that, Steve, because I know it feels like with the curriculum, you can just put kids in front of a laptop and say, go, everybody work. But it's not, it's really meant to be collaborative. In fact, several of the units will instruct students to work together on docs and slides. And it really is, it's still you being the facilitator of the learning in the classroom. And so, yeah, really important point to bring up.
Definitely.
Cool. Well, we're down to our last minute. So I just want to we're going to do a giveaway here in just a second. Just a shout out for our Applied Digital Skills Week. If you haven't signed up to get the daily emails and you want them, you can do so at this link, bit.ly/ APSKI, APSKI week, and that kind of has an overview of everything happening in the week. And so go ahead and check that out. I'll give you a preview. It hasn't been posted yet, but tomorrow's challenge is for you to be a learner. So I will, that's something to look forward to. I have learned a lot by using applied digital skills with students myself. And so tomorrow really is about you, the teacher, as a learner. And then another shout out for our Thursday YouTube Live. I know that Monica is here in the chat. She's going to be live with us along with Amanda Alford and Eric Simmons. And so Thursday's YouTube Live will really be about me not talking so much and them sharing with you how they've used applied digital skills with their students and some best practices. So definitely join us on Thursday. The link is in this bit.ly link that is listed here, so you can join live, and we'll also tweet that out as we get close to it. Let's see, I think it's time to give away a ticket, Natasha. Are we ready?
I feel like we need a
drum. Let me start my random generator. I'm gonna take your names from over here. So one last second to say hello if you haven't already. All right, and here we go, drum roll. And the winner of an EdTech team ticket is Kurt Lemke. Yay! So Kurt, if you could, let me see if I can get your email from here. I think I can get your email, but I'm actually going to ask you to email me. You should, if you're on our list, you should be getting emails. You can just reply to one of those, or if you go to this bit.ly link, you can get it there as well. It's heather@edtechteam.com. Congratulations, Kurt. You win a ticket to an EdTech Team Summit near you. Thank you all for joining us. This webinar is recorded. We'll make sure you have the link so that you can share it with colleagues, and we will say goodbye. See you next time. Bye, Natasha.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.